Good morning, everybody, and today we're on day 16 and we're continuing this animalistic journey. And today we're going to be looking at two animals in particular, the camel and the turtle. And you may be thinking, why are these two? What do they have in common? But they're both carrying with them their home, their water, everything they need. And again, we're going to use this, we're going to focus back on our core shape and its colour, realising that we have everything that we need. And that carrying things can bring up different emotions for us, and we're going to explore that today and know that that's completely okay, but reminding ourselves we have everything we need for ourselves. So to start, once more, coming towards our mat, we're going to lie down. We're just going to start as we're lying in Savasana. Our legs are straight, our arms are straight. To bring our right knee up, straightening it and allowing it to flop down. And while we're doing this, we're keeping our left leg nice and straight. We're keeping it actively engaged at the floor. It's as if we're like a horse and we're brushing our foot back. You're hearing and feeling the connectedness to the floor, the control coming up, and the control and the fall coming down. Don't completely allow yourself to drop, but you may cause an injury. Practice maybe controlling coming down first, feeling the engagement of the muscles, going as slow as we can go. Trying to keep those legs nice and parallel so that your knees are always facing up towards the ceiling. My feet are coming into a flexed position, so my toes are pointing up on the journey. And then as I drag my foot up, I'm feeling the connection all parts of the feet have with the floor. And again, we're just going to go back to that dropping sensation. We'll do 5 of those. And then bringing the knee into our chest. Just allowing it to relax as we're still finding length in our neck. So we're not looking up behind us, we're directly looking above where our knee is. From here, you may want to hold on to the knee as we start it in circles, moving outwards and then inwards. We're loosening up the hips, we're warming up the legs. You may want to do this without holding on, as you have to give more strength and support to your body. Allow the leg to open up on the side, as if you're swimming breaststroke in the water. Know sometimes the hips may click, that's okay. Just move wherever feels comfortable and rest when you need. And now I'm planting that foot on the floor again, keeping it as still as I can whilst I move my knee towards the right and the left. Trying to keep the rest of my body as still as I can, including my left leg. I'm allowing the hips to naturally open to where it feels comfortable for them. Feeling the engagement it has with my lower back, my mid back, my upper back. Noticing if there is any tension, where it is. Allowing this gentle rocking motion to start to send the release of this tension to this area in the back, if there is one. And we're going to bring both the legs flat again in Savasana. And as if we're hitting something with our toes, we're allowing our toes to flick towards the ground, keeping our heels grounded, allowing a gentle up and down rock in the spine. Again, we're sending any energy to release the tension in our body. We're allowing our body to relax as it finds the support from the ground. Our feet are warming up as they're moving from the ankle. My toes are still pointing up. My chin is still tucked. And then we're going to bring our left knee up, planting our right foot, and And again, start by lifting up the leg and allowing it to drop, keeping the right leg strong and supported where it is. Notice the sound and the contact your foot has with the floor. Noticing how this changes from connection to the heel, to the whole foot. Allowing yourself to feel all your toes. And as you come down, allowing your legs to rest on the floor before you lift them up again. As we begin to move as slow as we can, finding the strength in our core and our legs, giving them a mini rest as they meet the floor, relaxing in the ground before they're dragged up again. Keeping our legs parallel so our knees and our toes are staying lifted up to the ceiling as much as we can. We're not worrying about how high or low our leg is going. But we're feeling that connection, that energy. We'll do 5 more of those drops, allowing our leg to relax and release any tension. As on the 5th, we bring it into our chest, gently hugging, remembering to not lift our chin too high up, but to look directly above our knee. Our right leg is still grounded on the earth beneath us. As we begin to circle our left hip and our left knee from the outside in. You may want to do this with hands, and then slowly release them. And then releasing that leg straight as if you're in frog's legs, if you're in breaststroke. Again, the hips may crack, they may move, that's completely okay. Adjusting where suits. Before we plant our foot down again, we open up, moving our knees from left to right and out to in, allowing them to rest when they're down. The foot to follow suit as needed, but stay in the same place. Notice again if there's any tension in the lower back, mid back, or upper back. Allowing this gentle rocking motion that's coming from the left leg to release any tension in the back, while the rest of our body remains as still as possible. And then we're going to outstretch both our legs again into Savasana, feet hip width apart. And we're going to bring our toes down towards the floor and up in quick little motions to bring this rocking motion up our spine, releasing any tension and relaxing deeper into the earth. I'm going to come back, knees are coming up, toes are touching, allowing our knees to fall outwards, with our feet coming together as if they're in prayer position. And knees are naturally relaxed out and we're in goddess pose. As we notice our natural breath, knowing we do not need to change anything. And allowing those hips to naturally open. But I'm not forcing anything. I'm placing my hands just above my belly button. And I'm noticing the rise and fall with my breath. As I remember my core shape and ask myself what colour it is today. Without forming any judgment, but allowing the first colour that comes to mind to be assigned. From this position, you're going to take your left leg and you're going to cross it just underneath the right hip, as if you're coming into a cross-legged position. Your right foot is going to be in the gap, the crease, where your legs meet as if in the elbow. So my toes are going to be pointing towards my knee. My right toe is pointing towards my right knee. It's resting on top of my left calf. And I'm allowing that right knee to relax down wherever is comfortable. Again, if you do need to get a cushion or anything like that for added support, by all means. And just here, gently allowing the hips to open even more as we do our variations on Goddess. Staying with our natural breath, noticing how it moves, as we give an openness to our hips, an openness to our creativity. Because in today's session, we're looking at this idea of everything we take with us, everything we have, how we're designed, that everything we ever need is already within us. And sometimes it may not seem like it is. Sometimes we may feel a bit lost and that we don't have the skills. But with this creativity that we're opening, we can look in at ourselves, look at our toolbox, and find another way around the situation with what we already have innately, trusting that what we have is enough, and we are constantly adding and developing the skill set, but never losing a thing. Exhale, you're planting your feet down again, as you now bring your right foot in line with your left hip, allowing the knee to roll out. My left foot is coming in the gap in my right leg, toes pointing towards my right knee. I'm allowing myself to rest down. Foot may fall a little bit, that's okay. There may be differences. You can rest the feet on top of each other if needed. Knowing again, there is no problem with being different on each side. We're just adapting. As once again we notice our natural breath and our body's ability to adjust as it suits it at its moment. Knowing every day is different. Every day we need something. And our body already knows what that is. And we give ourselves kindness and release ego to allow this to happen. So again, we're not looking at flexibility or strength. We're looking at giving to our body what it's asking for. With that exhale, bringing the feet down again as we're rolling our body up to a seated position. Bringing our feet together again, coming in as close to ourselves as we can, finding that length in the spine, finding a fixed point in front of us, and staying here for 5 deep breaths. We're feeling the connectedness between the earth and our knees, no matter how high or low they are. And this runs from our tail to the top of our head. Everything's in line and in balance with what we need right now. I'm going to bring out our paws again. Then exhale, we're going to allow our paws to walk forward wherever feels natural for us. Finding the fixed point in line of our hands in the middle. Staying with our breath. And stay here for 2 more breaths. And on the 3rd exhale, you're going to walk your hands back in, holding on to the middle of our foot. Taking a nice deep breath, finding length again. So with the next exhale, we're refinding our midpoint. And we're walking forward and staying here for 5 breaths. Again, working on that length in the spine, the shoulders pulling down, they're not lifted. We're releasing any tension and telling ourselves and our body that we are safe because we're not pushing it too far. We're going to where is natural, and so we can relax, knowing we are doing what we need for our body, and our body is doing what it needs for us. On your 5th exhale, you're walking back, taking a nice deep breath, finding that length again in the body. Another exhale again, finding our fixed point, walking forward, adjusting this fixed point if needed, relaxing our shoulders, staying here for 5 more breaths. We're noticing the connectedness of the feet as the palms are touching, connectedness to our fingers or our palms on the floor, the sense of touch and being. As we exhale, come up again for a nice deep breath. Take our hands on the inner of our knee, allow the hands to rest underneath the ankle or underneath the calf, wherever we are. And on an exhale, we're going to bring our forehead towards our feet, allowing ourselves to relax. Not pulling ourselves down, but forming support. As we notice the curve in our spine, the openness of the hips, the connectedness maybe of our feet and our head, regardless if touching or not, our head had a goal and there is a connection. As we're breathing in, we're feeling our lungs and our back expand. We're allowing all those small openings to really be engaged. As yesterday we explored our eagle and our wings. Our back is the starting point of our wings, and we're still breathing into this area. And then exhale, we're coming up. We're going to straighten that right leg. Bring the left foot to touch the inner thigh, not on the knee, but just above. We're going to twist our hips towards the foot. With an exhale, leading forward. My hands are on either side of my foot, no matter where I am. My shoulders are in line as if I'm a tabletop. They're stacked horizontally. And I'm allowing my head to work towards my legs. Now with every inhale, you're allowing your spine to straighten and find the length. And with every exhale, you're leading with your head and your spine to come down. Every inhale, you're rolling from the lower spine to the head to straighten. And every exhale, you're folding back down again, bringing the head to the knee. You're doing this in time with your own breath. Eyes opened or closed, or a mixture of both. You're noticing the contrast between being straight and curved, and of this motion and movement. As we're opening up our back and our hips, our inner thighs, our hamstrings, we're syncing up with our breath. I'm going to do 2 more of these in our own time. And the final exhale, we're rolling all the way up from the base of our spine up to the top of our head, and then bringing our hips facing forward again. We're now going to outstretch that left leg, bringing that right foot in to touch, twisting our hips towards our feet, allowing ourselves to relax down, hands on either side. Again, we're aligning our shoulders so we're not tilting either way. We're allowing our fingers to spread on the floor, noticing our natural breath. Now with every inhale, straightening again, lowering the shoulders, lengthening the neck. Every exhale, we're allowing ourselves to fold towards the leg. The movements may start small, just as they did on the other side. Not coming in with expectations of how this is going to be, based on how it was on the other side. Knowing every moment is different and we're giving our body what it needs. But our power is that we're focusing on our breath and what we need. We're allowing this opening of where our wings begin. It's opening our back and our hips. We're bringing movement into us as water is flowing. As we're noticing all the innate qualities we have about ourselves. Our endurance, our perseverance, our listening, our speaking, our flow, our groundedness, our kindness. And as we exhale, finding that movement from the base of the spine, allowing the head to be last, and then adjusting to a facing forward again. We're going to bring our feet in front of us, facing forward, just outside hip width apart. Our arms are coming inside, and with an exhale, we're leaning forward with a straight back. Allowing our hips to open. Exhale, coming back. Exhale, we're moving forward again, this time placing our hands on the earth. Finding length in the body, allowing our arms to push against our knees and our knees to push back against us. Exhale, coming up. Last time, exhale, coming forward. Finding length, our midway point in our hands. Exhale, coming up. Now we're going to wiggle our toes out slightly, so we're in like this McDonald's M shape. We're going to bring our hands to a prayer position and allow our elbows to move just underneath our knees, allowing openness. Finding length in our body as we prepare for our turtle. Now as we're in this position, I'd like you to imagine a turtle, what it looks like, what colour it is. And a turtle carries its home with it. It's always got this place of safety it can go back. Its core shape is protected under this core. It's defended, but it's also its own attack. And as we come into our turtle, again, it's not about how far we're coming in flexibility, but we're noticing our inner core shape and the protectedness that it's being covered. We're noticing the eagle starting of our wings, how they can be protected and ready. We're noticing this area as it's now becoming our shell, and it's protecting us from the world, this strength that comes from our back. So from this position, allowing our hands to come underneath and wrap around to touch our outer ankle. Exhale, you're slowly going to wiggle your feet out and allow your body to fold forward, relaxing wherever you need. When you come to the floor, swap in your grip, so my palms are now face down as I continue to move. Going wherever feels comfortable, knowing this is a stretch not only on the lower body, but the upper body, on the arms, on the shoulder, that you may be able to touch the ground, but with your hands underneath you may not, and that this is okay. We're noticing the protective place of our core, but still its engagement as it's moving into our spine to keep our flat back. I'm still engaged, my head is still in line with my body, I've got an active gaze on the floor beneath me. My body is open, my arms are on the ground covered, because I'm protected enough. I don't need my hands. I don't need my fists, because the other defences I have are enough. Then exhale, you're going to release your hands from where they are and straighten up in front of you. Whether this is again, wherever you are. Breathing deeply as you now feel legs moving closer to the floor. Again, being okay if they're not. You may want to adjust, moving your legs further back by shifting your weight forward. As with an exhale, you allow those hands to straighten, your ears to come in line with your arms, and to rest. Noticing again your natural breath, engagement of your spine as it's straight, the active gaze, and your core as we re-engage it as it comes towards our spine, but is protected by our shell above us. With an exhale, we're bringing the arms back, allowing the spine to roll up with the head being last, and bringing our knees together in a hug. Again, reforming this shell shape and protecting our core from front and back. In this position, you're going to allow those feet to slide slightly further forward. Again, keeping the bend. And as we have done, allowing the body to fold and relax the head in between the knees. Releasing any grip, allowing your hands to fall wherever they want on the floor. Feeling that engagement in the back, that curve. And then exhale, we roll our spine up with the head being last. As we come onto our knees. And within our turtle, this home, this protection, this attack that we have, we were very protecting, very defending of ourselves as we're curved forward and over, and we've got all of this space, this beauty behind us, kind of like our wings. The camel still has this hump on its back that carries the water to allow it to go to long lengths, long journeys it goes on. And the camel pose is quite an open pose as well. This water, this flow that we started looking at as we were doing our ripples with our in and out breaths. This water is within us. This water is also linked to this creativity, this openness of the hips. So these two animals, though they look completely different, they have this shell, they have this space over their back that protects them and stores everything it needs. But it's got this flow, this connection with water. So we're just going to start by opening up again, as we normally do. As we bring this openness with this water quality now in our back, that we know that our core is protected. Our turtle pose showed us this. The camel shows us we can be open, that we can take long journeys that maybe we didn't want to, we didn't think we could, or didn't look that appealing, as we're in the middle of a desert. The pose that we're going to come into, we're opening up. We know when we've got all our reserves, we've got this store on our back, we've got this protection. Our feet, our hooves are designed, we are designed to endure and to keep going. We're designed in a way that we can do this with self-care, that we're not going to burn out, we're not going to stay in a situation we're not meant to be, because innately we know and we can get through it. So we're going to rest our hands on our thighs as we lift our body up. Our hips are directly above our knees. And we'll open it up so we're hip width apart again. I'm keeping my core engaged, that shape, this zip up. And my body isn't really moving. But then exhale and bringing my arm down towards my foot and bringing it back. My head is following that journey, but my core is straight. My upper body may move, but that's okay. Do the same again and exhale on the other side, coming back. We're staying strong in where we are, in our ability. Our core is keeping us there as we place our hand over our core, keeping it engaged. This movement, this flow of the arm comes naturally. And we move down as far as we can. the stretch we feel in our back, in our upper and our lower, is reminding us of our hump, this store of water, this store of perseverance. As we move in however feels natural and not overforcing it. And then if we want, we can continue with that if we felt that that was enough, listening to our store and where we are on our journey, whether it's in the desert or the forest. We know where our animal belongs. You can bring both arms up if you're wanting to carry on. Bring the arms to the side, and with an exhale, you're folding back, keeping your hips where they are. Your head is lifted up behind it. You're feeling the engagement. Again, you can have blocks behind you. But what's really important is I'm not sinking into my hips. I'm actively engaged. My knees and my hips are staying in line. I'm still keeping them forward. I'm open and I'm flexible as I'm moving back. I'm flexible in my mindset. And I'm feeling the hump. As I'm feeling the gap between my head and my back. And the stretch. With an exhale, lifting one hand up to engage with my core. Now in the other as I roll up, with the head being last. And from here, we're going to move back, come into child's pose, noticing again the protectiveness of our core. But even when we open up, we can always protect and shield our inner being. But we can open up because we have this ability within us. As we stay here for 5 more deep breaths, as we think about these two animals, this flow of movement and water, and what we take with us. Sometimes we think carrying everything with us can be a burden. It can be a challenge. It can be safety. It can mean a lot to us, varying again between each moment. But in today's session, we just looked at how all these qualities are already within us. That we know what animal we are and where we belong. And we use and adapt our skills with creativity to adjust to what we need. For the next exhale, we'll allow